shower of the day. A day burned the night, no light burned the sky, and the flowers were right tonight. Like a fool while the locals was playing their souls. Hey, yeah, well it's only a matter of time. Hey, yeah, well it's only a matter of time.
Alright, everybody, that was Bird, and the song Winter Tale and the Wizard. Released today. It's a single from their latest studio album, The Great Beast from the Sea, Ohm-025. It's got some good artwork on there too. Go check them out on Bandcamp. Bird 10, bandcamp.com. Okay, so I want to talk about remystifying our lives. Everything seems to be so apparent, but is it really? It's not, to me. Kids seem to have this mystification about the world. They don't know what it is yet. And who's to say adults do too? Who's to say any of us ever figure it out is really the point of what I'm getting at. The bottom line of what I'm getting at. But in the approach of being mystified by the world, solutions arise. Things happen. We're energized. When things are so cut and dry, and you know the process, and you have to be told what to do instead of figuring it out through, being mystified. Here's some unknown thing. What do we do? Don't know. It doesn't follow the conventional rules that we're used to. And humans thrive in that environment. We're like excited. We're like, oh, I don't know. What do I do? Let's make up a plan. Let's figure it out. And with kids, they're constantly mystified and challenged. And then at a certain point, we stop being mystified and challenged. We lose that mystification of the world. We lose that creative spark as well. Or what some artists call their muse. Children don't need a quote-unquote muse or whatever. They are mystified already. And I find myself in moments where I become remystified, where I wonder, what is that all about? I wonder what is really going on with that. And I think that's the appeal of, as the mainstream media would call, conspiracy theories. It's a mystification. It's a remystification of the adult mind. And what's it do? It kindles all this art, books, conversations. Because we're scared. Being mystified by something is also scary as hell. You're terrified when you don't know what something is at first. All the hairs stand on end on the back of your arms and neck and back. You get goosebumps everywhere, man, and you're mystified. What do I do? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I move or should I not? Should I attack? What do I do? what's my best strategy here to get out of this situation alive, or out of debt, or successful, whatever. Our brains are wired to perceive as threats and success now, right? In our crazy concrete jungle, modern business world, I don't, But you get the point. I find myself being mystified sometimes, and um, it's hard to hold on to it. I try, and I try to write it down, but it seems like when I try to write it down, when I try to capture it, when I try to hit record, when I try to do any of this stuff, it clams up. It's like, nope. It's but sometimes when I'm alone, uh, I don't know what'll I'm just trying to think out loud here and talk it out, and maybe someone out there can know what I'm talking about, and help out in the comments or something. But I wonder what is happening to my mind when I get remystified. Like I'm walking through the hallway, and then I'll have some sort of thought or insight, and it'll strike me, and then, man, it's like I'm in another world, and I'm like in a waking dream or something. And if I'm real careful and I don't give in to astonishment, I can just observe and maybe guide it a little bit, like a lucid dream. And this thought or something will occur to me, and I'll try to follow it, as much as I can. But then I'll try to recall it and remember it, and I can. It's like a dream. It just, I wonder, what that is. I wonder why that happens. I wonder how, I can capture those moments and express them. Um, I guess it'll just have to be a mixture of media. Writing is good. Painting is good. I think I like drawing because it's immediate. Music is another wonderful way to express some of these things, but I think more of what happens when I get struck by these moments of remystification is symbolism, and ideas, like an idea, like it's I'm trying to distill something, perhaps. That seems to be what I'm always on and on about trying to analogize things, simplify, distill, understand, make it digestible, break things down. Seems to be what I'm obsessed with, what I want to do. So I have these flashes, these insights, these ideas, these little movies that play that mystify me. These, and a lot of it is based off of different books I'm reading, of course. It's not like it's coming out of nowhere, guys. It's stuff that I'm familiar with, but the stories and the symbols and the characters will, I guess, just dance around in my head and interact. When I'm idly going around working on something, and it'll, if sometimes I allow it instead of, then that's the fine line. How much do you go off into creative land, and how much do you sit and focus and work on the thing? Just a little bit is the answer. But anyway, I was thinking about these things, and if you let yourself just go into it sometimes, not all the time, but follow it like the snitch in Harry Potter during the Quidditch game, while everybody else is doing this thing and that thing, trying to score points. If you get this one thing, capture the idea. I mean, that's the allure of it, right? That's the gamble. You got to be in touch with that subconscious enough to get the success out of it and know when to do the right thing without messing up everybody else playing their game. Very tricky, hardest thing to do. So anyway, I follow this idea, and then it leads to these little films or stories, and I guess that's based upon all the movies I love watching. Love watching Monty Python and Star Trek, and all these things just start to intermingle. And these symbols and ideas and stories and characters will start to arise, and I write them down roughly, but gotta watch how I say this, but I have yet to fully flesh them all out. It's just all these seeds I've got. I think a lot of artists feel that way. These incompletes, these things that you just need to put the time, effort into. Sit down and suck at it for hours. You're gonna feel worse about not trying to do it and not trying to remystify yourself. You're gonna feel worse by sitting around being worried about how much you're gonna hate it. That's the creator's block. You have to almost have a casualness about it, like you're picking up some fruit and a baguette at the market, right? And it's just something you're stopping along the way to do. To stop and smell the roses, in other words. To take a little time to remystify yourself so you can get that work out there. Because everybody's got to have a reason. You have to have your own personal reason. Your own mystery that you're trying to understand, that you're chasing, that you want to know. In anything. I wonder what it'd be like if I could, build a solar panel house or something. I wonder if I could get my bill down to 0. I don't know, just whatever your thing, whatever your thing is. Whatever the things are in life that make you go, why is it like that? What is going on? Like if you're like in all these old Lovecraftian books that I love to read, they're going through these dead alien cities that are thousands of years old. And when I read them as a teenager, I was always like, where are they? Why are they all dead? What happened? What mistake did they make? Or what came after them? How do I defend myself against that? How do I stop that? It's like the mystification process for me and others I've seen. It elicits a response out of humans that's a positive one. You know, you're like, I got to do something about it. I got to make something about it. I got to figure this out. I got to explore this. I got to make something. I got to reinvent myself. I'm mystified by this. I've got to adapt. And I find when I let myself get into this, when I tell other people around me that I'm entering into this, please don't take any offense to this. This is just my process. I'm just saying, if this is something that you're going to do with your life, you've got to let people know what's going on. A lot of artists close themselves off, go off on their quests, and they alienate themselves from other people. And you don't have to do that. Just clue people in on the process. It's not like, it is a sacred thing to a lot of people, but are the people in your life sacred too? You gotta clue people in. And maybe you don't even know really what it is that you're doing. And you can't explain it. I'm not the most creative person. I guess I'm more logical and I guess I'm a blend or whatever, but because I like writing a lot too and reading, but I also love drawing and painting and making music and playing the piano and the guitar. But I'm not great at either one, I don't think. I mean, I can do them. But other people, they're so proficient and good at these other, like they can play guitar really well. But they just go off in their own world, you know what I mean? And they might be constantly mystified. They might be in this constant state of amazement, like wow, and they try not to give into the astonishment and just ride the wave. They're surfing, and that's what I'm ultimately talking about, is surfing yourself. Just like in Warhammer 40k, the Martian, was it the Mechanicus? They figured out the ebb and flow of the chaotic warp storms, and they were able to send out colony ships to make the Forge Worlds, and eventually figure a way to navigate the warp to reunite with those Forge Worlds, and help create the Imperium. I think, Warhammer 40k especially, more than just regular Warhammer, absolutely mystifies me because it's so accurate in its archetypes, its Jungian archetypes. It's a lot like Dante's Inferno as well. It's got it all, man, and you watch these ideas battle across the galaxy. And there's even an eye of terror, right? Is that what it's called? It's a tear in reality that leads directly into the warp, into hell. The warp is hell, by the way, for the uninitiated. But they're traveling through hell in order to go faster than light. And that's the only form of travel, apparently. Except the webway. The Eldari webway. But I don't think humans use that, or they can't. I don't know. Or it's corrupted by the real fucked up Eldari that are still alive that created Slaanesh. I think that's how it is. Camorra? Yeah. Yeah, that's the city of Camorra in like the, quantum dimensions or some shit. Mystifying. What does it all mean? I mean, it's real. It's coming from our mind, there's something, going on in there, man. I read someone make a post recently. I think it was, Uberboyo made a post about Carl Jung in the Red Book, and how the Red Book is Jung, all of Jung's notes and jargon and all this stuff put together into the Red Book. That is what it is. Just like Nietzsche made Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's everything he ever did distilled into that book, to that great work. Those masterpieces, the Red Book and Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And you can read those and then go back, and all the other things that they did are commentary on those works. And I agree with that statement. I mean, that's the point of our lives. That's the point of what we're trying to do. We're trying to distill our lives, our life's work, to where it's easily understandable, digestible, people, as we get older. We want to be able to explain it to our children. And that can also mean everybody else's children, just new people, the young people. That it's representative of that. They want to make it simple enough to where people will understand and not misconstrue it, make it into an interesting story where it'll keep people's attention. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what we're supposed to do as humans. We're storytellers. That doesn't mean stories are lies. They can be meta-true. They can apply to a lot of different things and help us. And it doesn't mean we need to stop telling stories and stop remystifying ourselves. Okay, we can tell new stories. In fact, we have to tell new stories. We have to tell new stories. That's why Nietzsche's on and on about the Ubermensch, the overman. That's why Jung is on and on about the anima and animus getting married inside of yourself, in your own mind. You getting along, your masculine and feminine traits, complementing each other to where you're a balanced human being. That way you can be gentle around a baby but vicious around a robber, Right? You don't want to just be a macho man where you can never connect with your baby or your children. And you don't want to be so weak that if somebody comes and hurts you that they kill your baby and take your wife or something, right? So that balance, right? That's the Ubermensch. That's the overman. That's the attempt. And, we're trying to do that. I think a lot of this gay stuff is a confusion of that. Okay? I think that people are just misunderstanding what they need to be doing. You know, they're going too extreme in the shadows, in the secret places, right? You don't necessarily, you know, as I made a video on this about, you know, I already made a video about, I don't want to talk about it again, but I already made a video about this type of stuff, and homosexuality, the spike in it, the you know, in transsexual stuff, you know, particularly among white people, the strange people of this world, you know, and I think, you know, representative of that is, you know, like the Aldari, um, the elves, and I don't mean that in a necessarily a good way, because they had the most perverted, fucked up, warped um, god they created, Slanesh, the god of lust and uh, sexual deviance. I think other races are guilty of other sins that they've created, you know, other chaos gods they've created. I definitely think, you know, what, you know, if we're going to get real spicy and deep here, you know, Warhammer 40K is a good analogy for what is going on the earth. It just is. It's what's going on. And we can all debate on who the orcs are, and we can all debate on who the Tau are. China! Right, okay? And we can all debate on these things, but basically that's what's going on. And we all know who the Imperium is. We all know who, you know, Terra represents. It represents America. And you know, servitors. A lot of people feel like servitors, you know, working at McDonald's, right? Sorry, there was somebody outside. But anyway, a lot of people feel like servitors, you know, at their job. They're unable to leave. They're bolted to a fucking wall just to open and close a door. And they're just a torso and a head moving around, you know, just drugged up. And their brain is only used as a CPU processor. They see someone coming, and then they just know to open the door for them and shut it. And a lot of people feel that way. It's like, you know, we're doing this to everybody in the Imperium just for the sake of surviving another day, but, you know, surviving for what? At the cost of how many souls? To what end? What can be done? You know, it's quite the conundrum, quite the problem. How do you get other people to become, you know, their own emperor? to become self-individuated enough to where they can become their own astronomicon. Heresy, you say? Well, everything is going to fall apart. Everything is going to fall apart. The emperor is slowly falling apart. What is America to do? People are starting to not believe in their leader anymore, in their emperor. And they're just, everybody's becoming servitors, and luckily people are smuggling some arms and legs in there, and these servitors are walking out of their job. And all the space marines are getting their noses flattened as they walk into the door, and it's not opening automatically for them. You know what I'm saying? So the Imperium's got to do something different. It has to re-mystify. It has to figure out how we're all going to work together. Because that's how they had the age of technology, the humans, and made all those, what are they called, STSs? Those blueprint machines. I mean, they can't even figure out how to, make their own ships and technology and invent anything, because they're not allowed. Everything is heresy, and some things I understand that. Some things should be heretical, because it does give birth to these chaos gods. It does start to fuck up everything. But when you remystify and you wonder, you start creating technology. You start creating these STSs, these standard technology something or another's. But you don't have to go hunt around the edges of the galaxy and Necron worlds looking for the last untainted, STS core. You could remystify yourself and have direct access to what created that technology. It was humans. It was people talking and working together and getting along, and probably doing some drugs and having a party about it, and listening to some good music that inspires them and mystifies them, and making stuff happen. Until they leaned on the men of iron too much and got punished. You can't just make robots and have them do everything. When humans didn't have that, they were doing great. Until they had all these men of iron doing everything, and then they turned on them. Wonder why. They made them do everything. Didn't probably thank them. So, they have to remystify themselves. And stop using machines to do everything. Just use machines to help you. Like having a navigation computer. That's good. Unless you want to go full on Frank Herbert and do a bunch of space drugs so you can teleport and open wormholes with your mind or whatever. With a Holtzman drive. But, I think it's okay to use navigation computers. Alright, guys? I think that's fine. Targeting computers for your lasers. But computers to think for you, to go get you a cup of tea when it's right next to you, nah. That is demystifying. That's lame. It's real stupid. And it's actually gay. Because it results in nothing new. No new ideas. Just stagnation. And resentment. Yeah, that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know, it, it, if you're not playing in fertile ground, then you can't have new ideas. If you're not wondering what's around the bend and you're just pissed off constantly and resentful, and you're not making a family, and you're not making anything new, you're not distilling your thoughts and trying to get them to be distilled out into a more ordered fashion, you know, there's an end. There's a destruction. Just like with the Aldari, they started having all these orgies, not for the purpose of having children, just sterile, gay, homosexual sex for the sake of pleasure and lust. You know, it created Slanesh and consumed and ate them all, and while it was having an orgasm in the cosmic warp. Okay? Is that what we all want as white people? Is that what we want, to be consumed by our lust while it's coming, eating you alive? Seems to be what most of these fanboys are all into, right? I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. You know, there is a crisis in white culture, and not one of where we're too racist. One where we're too lustful to the point of insanity. What the hell is missing in us to where, you know, I gotta call it out. What's missing? What's going on, guys? You know, we used to do cool shit. And now we're all, you know, tentacled up and monstered up. Monster pornos here and there. Debauchery on all levels. And there's a few of us that are like, you know, heresy, this is bad, you know. But not enough, you know. Or is it enough? Does it always just take a few? Just like the founding fathers. I'm looking at it that way. It always takes a few. You know, the emperor was one man. Jesus was one man, and took on the forces of hell and chaos, and won. So you got a few people. I mean, hey, now you're cooking with gas. Maybe you could do something, right? There's always Judas. There's always a Horus heresy, right? Got to guard against that. You know, what if Jesus had a gun and he could shoot off bad people's thumbs? You know, he'd be a crack shot, of course. It's Jesus Christ. And he just blew off anybody's thumb that had a spear that was coming at him. Right? Didn't kill him. Just blew their thumbs off from real far away. And if you kept coming at him, he'd just blow your big toe off. That way you couldn't walk real good or run real good. Wouldn't kill you, though. Wouldn't blind you. Just make it to where you had to ask other people for help in order to live anymore. You know? Because if I was him, I wouldn't want to be put back on that cross coming back. You know, I'd be like, I'm not going up on that cross. Again, he wouldn't be killing anybody. Right? I think that's what the Emperor of Mankind represents, you know, is that. You know, what if Jesus had a gun? I guess they insinuate that the Emperor was a Messiah or something at some point, and a general, and all these different things. Maybe they're the same person, right? It's a mortal being. And then after the Aeon of Strife, it's just like, you know, enough is enough. I'm going to band everybody together. We're going to have some fucking order down here on the earth. We're going to rebrand. We're going to give it a new name. We're going to call it Terra. And when we're going to make an Imperium, and humanity is going to be the dominant race in this galaxy. Going to make it happen. I'm doing it. Doing it live. Fuck it. I'm doing it live. Let's make it happen. And then he did. He did. He set it out and made it happen. Hell or high water. Macro cannon to Titan. Fucking world to world. Balls to the walls, man. And still yet lives on, guiding humanity as a lighthouse back to Holy Terra. But it still stands that the Imperium and the state that it's in is rotting away. Our country, America, is rotting away. But through decay, new things can grow. And I think you're seeing that happen now. I hope they're good things. Some bad things can grow. Some weeds can grow for sure. Some mold can grow for sure. If there's not enough sunlight. New little businesses, Etsy pages, things like this really inspire me to keep on keeping on what I'm doing in my little corner of the universe, while I know everybody else is doing their little thing in their corner of the universe and sharing it and making some money. Making some money off their art and their ideas. 3D printing their dreams. It really is a wonderful time to be alive. And I hope that it remystifies all of you as much as it does to me. But for some people that were with family members, you know, like my folks never really understood why, what my process was, and I would get mad, and you can't, you know, when I was younger, you can't do that though. You gotta just explain to people, like, I just got my own process, man. Me and my girlfriend recently talked about this and had a really great conversation about it. It's just we said that about each other. Is that, you know, this person splatters toothpaste on the mirror every time, and then this person leaves their notebooks and stuff all over the place. So one person picks up the notebooks, the other person just wipes off the mirror, and you still love each other because that's just your process or whatever, man. And you can either get so mad every time about it and aggravate the situation and then leave and go get somebody else, but then they're going to have these things and they're not going to change. You're going to get aggravated and leave and go to somebody else over and over until you're old and never done anything with anybody. You didn't stick around long enough to develop and grow into anything, right? And you got to just accept people's process and how people remystify themselves. Or when they choose not to. Some people are afraid to remystify, and then they're playing the Quidditch game, man, and you're chasing the snitch, and that is A-okay. You can't get so mad and knock people around while they're playing Quidditch, right? And fuck up your team. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Play your game and weave and bob and don't touch them. And don't fucking be mad. Don't be mad, man. Go get your snitch. And then you'll have it and you'll bring it back. And it might take longer. And everybody's racking up points. And you've made 0 points. You're just bobbing and weaving. It looks like you're fucking ridiculous. What the hell is he doing out there in the rain like that? Crazy ass. No. If you get that snitch and you bring it back, you win the game for the whole team. Just like an Ender's Game. If you get, the mad doctor or the little doctor ship through the bug fleet and you get one shot through the goalie, one shot, blow up the whole planet. BFG 10,000, man. BFG 50,000, man. Boom. You win. Right? There's this example in story after story after story of chasing the snitch, where it seems like you don't know what the hell you're doing. You're losing the game, and then in the last second, boom. The end of Event Horizon. Lawrence Fishburne tears off some of those neck explosives on the ship, the neck connecting the bridge to the engineering section. Brings him to the engineering section. No, that was another part. Anyway, he blows up the fucking ship. He wins the game. It seems like he's not winning. Last minute, ooh, I got a bomb. And Lawrence Fishburne and his indomitable will and spirit against the evil of not accepting it is going to be a bomb going into the chaos realm. Right? He's going to be a force of light to fight the chaos gods. Of course, naturally. Duh. Lawrence Fishburne is up there in the warp fighting Korn. Everybody knows this. This is canon. But anyway, this is the thing. Don't be afraid to tell other people you're chasing the snitch. If other people give up on you, fuck them. Do you, man. Other people are going to find out what you're doing is cool and believe in you. And stick with you, man. They're going to believe in you. They're going to stick with you. And then, it's not like you get the snitch one time. There's multiple Quidditch games, people. Right? There's multiple. I'm not saying you got one Quidditch game your whole life. You can keep getting the snitch, man. You can keep getting it. And you can keep helping your friends along the way while you're doing your quest. Like, drop in and block this thing. Do a little defense. Do a little offense. Help here. Help there. You can help score a point here and there. You can. But that's not your main goal. And don't feel guilty about it anymore. Because you're either... Harry Potter or fucking Malfoy or whatever, you can be who you. I don't know if we really get to choose who our character is or whatever, but some people are just however the hell they are, and stop getting in the way of yourself is the whole entire point I'm trying to distill and illustrate here. Just do it. Allow yourself to be remystified. Allow yourself to chase after the snitch, that shiny golden thing out in the field, and see where it leads, and see what you can offer to the tribe, to your team. And don't give up, and do it as hard as you can, the best that you can. And you'll bring snitches home, man. You will nail these snitches. And you'll bring them home. You'll bring those W's home, man. And then doors will open for you, and people will see what you're trying to do. You know, if you are that creative wizard type or whatever, be that. If you are not that, that doesn't mean you're unimportant. You know, Malfoy develops. You know, he starts to see the error of this shit in his father. And he becomes good too, man. You have a story too, man. You know, everybody's got a story. And by the end of that, I really believe everybody in Harry Potter did become their own main character. And that's the goal. And that's the goal of Jesus too. And that's the whole point of the side of the light. We want everybody to be their own main character. I want everybody to be their own main character. And with that, I think I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to have some more guests on here soon. Just, you know, it's been the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Everybody's been real busy during the winter months. But the new year, I'm going to be doing a lot more interviews and having interesting topics. So let me know what kind of topics y'all are interested in hearing. What kind of perspectives and people you want to talk to. And just get in the Discord, get in the comments below, and just become a part of the conversation. That's how we're going to get through this together. No other way than that. We're going to have to just figure out how to make it out of this alive together. Whether we like it or not. Alright, so I'm going to cruise us on out with some tunes. Let's see what's new here. Well, let's give this a go. See y'all later. Hope y'all had a Merry Christmas. By the way, this song is called Black Sky Giant Orbiter Remastered. Just came out yesterday.